To control population, the UP government has announced some decisions, and these decisions will be helpful or harmful. We will discuss in this editorial. An unproductive idea. So editorial is not seems in agreement with this announcement of UP government. Editorial says that this idea will not prove productive. This idea will not prove beneficial. Socio-economic empowerment is more effective than coercion. Coercion means when you compel someone, when you make someone do something forcefully, it is called coercion. In cutting fertility rates, fertility rates here means your you can say that to reproduce, reproduction rate. So socio-economic empowerment. So to empowerment means to make someone powerful. So socially and economically we should make people powerful. It is the most important thing that should be done. We should not force people. We shouldn't force people to cut fertility rates. We should make them aware about the detrimental effects of population growth. Incentives and penalties. So recently in the decision of the UP government, some incentives have been given and some penalties have been prescribed. It means if you have 2 or less than 2 children, then you will be given some incentives, or if you have more than 2 children, then you will be penalized for that. Like how you will be penalized? That you cannot apply for a government job. Form an integral means very important component element of the measures steps to control population growth. So to control the population growth of UP, the UP government has decided that we should give some incentives and we should give some penalties. Here to provide some incentives means to provide some benefits who are helpful in controlling population. Announced by, and these decisions have been announced by the UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on Sunday. These steps are aimed at, we use at preposition with aim, aimed at reducing UP's total fertility rate. So the main goal is to reduce the total fertility rate, to reduce the total reproduction rate, recorded as 2.7 by the National Family Health Survey 4 in 2016. So in 2016 it was 4th survey, and that was done by the NFHS, and in that survey UP recorded TFR, total fertility rate, it is 2.7, and it is just below the Bihar, a figure only lower than that of neighboring Bihar, 3.1 as of 2020 in NFHS 5. So the 5th survey of NFHS shows the total fertility rate of Bihar is 3.1. So Bihar is on the top, and after Bihar comes UP. Increasing the rate of modern contraceptive prevalence. So what are the aims? What the UP government is going to do? Like increasing the rate of modern contraceptive prevalence. Prevalence means existence of something. Contraceptive means something that helps in birth control. So to use the modern contraceptives, male contraception, especially male contraception, some devices, or you can say that some tablets, to prevent the birth control. Decreasing maternal mortality. To decrease maternal mortality means we see many mothers get died during the birth of child, so we have to prevent it, maternal mortality. And infant mortality rates, significantly by 2026. So this is the plan of the UP government that infant mortality, infant means you can say that the beginning of a child, are on the face of it. On the face of it means outwardly. Outwardly, these goals seems in line with. In line with means in, you can say that in line with means in harmony with what was stressed. Stress means what was emphasized at the Cairo International Conference. At the Cairo International Conference on Population and Development in 1994. So in 1994 there happened a meeting, and this meeting is known as Cairo International Conference on Population and Development. So some goals were decided, or you can say that some goals or some steps were decided in this meeting, and these steps seems are in line with the steps the recently UP government has taken. The Cairo consensus means agreement, general agreement. Called for means when you call for something means you demand for something. A promotion of reproductive rights, empowering women, universal education. So these were the points which were emphasized during the Cairo International Conference. Like we should promote the reproduction rights of people, we should make women powerful, we should make education available universally, maternal and infant health, the health of child and the health of mother should be prioritized. To untangle, when you untangle something means if something is complicated you make it simple. Naughty means complicated. To untangle the knotty issue of poverty and high fertility. So at present we have been suffering from high fertility rates. Due to high fertility rates, the population is growing day by day, and the poverty is also a main issue. So these issues are very knotty, these issues are very complicated, and we have to untangle these issues. We have to make these issues simple. But instead of taking steps in this direction, so editorial says that we should take steps to reduce poverty, we should take steps to solve the issue of high fertility. The government seems to have taken the beaten path. When you take beaten path means you are taking usual path of a mixture of incentives and penalties. So editorial says that previously we have also done the same thing, like we gave some incentives or we gave some benefits to the people who helped in birth control, and we penalize those who were not following the government's announcements. To tackle means to handle. What is a socio-economic issue as a demographic one? Demographic means something that is related to people. So editorial says that the main issue is our social structure is weak, main issue is our economic structure is weak. So we should emphasize to make these two fields strong. In a draft UP population control, so this is the bill that has to be proposed, UP Population Control, Stabilization and Welfare Bill 2021. The government aims to incentivize one child family. So in this bill the government has emphasized one child families, and so the government UP government says that those who have only one child will be given many benefits and reward those with two children, and also those who have two children will be rewarded with perks means benefits in government schemes, rebates in taxes. So what are the benefits the people will get who have two children or only one child? They will get rebate in taxes, they will get rebate in loan, and cash awards if family planning is done among other soap. Let us take this term soap. Soap means something that is of very small value, but it is given to prevent the complaints. If people are complaining, like you can say that if people are complaining again and again that we are unemployed, unemployed, give us employment, then the government may say, okay, from the next month we will provide you 100 rupees per month. So it will be called a soap. So editorial said that there are so many soaps which the UP government has decided to give to the population, to the UP people. Disincentivize for those with more than 2 children. So at the same time, the government has decided that those who have more than 2 children will not be able to get some government benefits, like include denial of subsidies. They will not be provided subsidy and welfare benefits. A bar means when you prevent something, a bar on applying for government jobs. Those who have more than children cannot apply for government jobs and they cannot take part in local elections. Assam, also led by the BJP, Assam, where the rule is of BJP, is mulling. If you mull something means you are considering something and you are thinking about something, is mulling a similar policy. So Assam is also planning to bring into effect the same policy which the UP government has adopted. The disincentives approach has been denounced. Denounced means to criticize something in the past by the National Human Rights Commission. So NHRC has criticized the policy of incentives and disincentives. After such measures, such steps were introduced by several, means many states in the 1990s and 2000s. So we saw during the period of 1990s or 2000, so many states introduced the policy of incentives and disincentives. But this approach was criticized by NHRC. Like Haryana, undivided Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Odisha. These are the states who introduced the policy of incentives and disincentives to control their population. The Supreme Court in 2003, what did the Supreme Court do in 2003? Upheld means to maintain something. A Haryana government law bearing means accept persons with more than 2 children from contesting local body polls. So editorial said that accept this rule, or accept you can say that this point, persons with more than 2 children from contesting local body polls. But the legal grounding, so Haryana, the Supreme Court in 2003 maintained the similar law was passed by the Haryana government and that law was approved by the Supreme Court, except one point. This point was not approved by the Supreme Court. What was that point? That Supreme Court said in Haryana, the persons with more than 2 children can fight local body elections. But still, the legal grounding, the legal basis of the moves, impinge upon means to have bad effect. Impinge upon means to have bad effect. The informed choice of the individual remained questionable. So editorial says that its bad effect cannot be put aside. Empirical studies, empirical means proven studies of coercive means to force someone. So empirical study of coercive measures steps have shown their discrimination against marginalized people. Marginalized people means the people who are, you can say that, who are below the poverty line. These people have been called marginalized people. Discrimination. So we see that when we try to control the population forcefully, so this this trying goes against the marginalized people in particular, and with no discernible effect. Discernible means that can be seen clearly effect on population control. And when we try something forcefully, we do not see any changes in population control. While more substantive poverty reduction schemes and economic reforms have raised labor productivity and employment opportunities. While more substantive means enough poverty reduction schemes and economic reforms, and economic reform means some improvement in our economy, have raised means to uplift something, labor productivity and employment opportunity. Editorial says that if we try to reduce the poverty, then it helps in generating employment and it helps in reduction of poverty. Allowed families to empower women. With these steps, like when we tried to reduce the poverty and when we tried to generate the employment, these steps helped to make women powerful. And reduced fertility rates as rational choices. Rational choices means logical choices. India's TFR, total fertility rates, have been reducing substantially. Substantially means enough across most states. Editorial says that at present, in this modern times, we see that across most of the states, TFRs have been reducing automatically. Even in UP Bihar, even in UP and Bihar with the highest TFRs. So this TFR is getting reduced in every state automatically. To hasten the drop to replacement level of fertility, states should tackle the socio-economic. But if we want to increase the process, editorial said that this TFR is getting reduced automatically, but if we want to hasten the progress, and if we want it to happen speedily, then states should handle the social problem and economic problem issues. Confront means to face something. India's largely youthful demography here means population. So India's population is facing some social problems and some economic issues, and states should focus on solving these issues rather than means instead of seeking. When you seek something, you desire something. Seeking neo-Malthusian approach. Neo-Malthusian approach says that we must use contraceptives to control the population. But editorial says that instead taking help of neo-Malthusian approach, we should take the help of these issues, and like we should solve the social issue, we should solve economics issues, and then we should try to control population.